Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing two different tumblers using part of a V-split sheet from Side Hustle. Sorry, Lord, I can't talk. We're going to do these in two separate tutorials, just so I can show you the two different techniques. Get it together, Brittany. So I can show you the two different techniques because we are going to make this more of a manly tumbler, and then this one is going to be with glitter. Okay, so, or I might do it the other way around. I'm not 100% sure yet. I think we'll do this one. Yeah, we'll do this one with glitter, and then this one I'm going to do a black wood grain. Okay, so we will be doing this one in a separate tutorial, but for now, let's go ahead and get started on this. So I want to do a simple glitter base on this one. This is just going to be a couple of really easy tutorials. Side Hustle has created some really amazing V-split designs that you can just cut out and pop right onto your cup. You don't have to worry about measuring or getting anything proportional because they've already done the work for you. I don't think that I have, let's see, I actually do have a couple left over, but I will I'll link the tutorial down below that I've already did using one of their V-splits, but this is one of their, I think it's called Super V is what this is called, because it will fit onto a 32 ounce plump from TIPSY Magnolia just seamlessly. And I did use one of these in a tutorial. They also have coordinating vinyls, which that's a beautiful set. And some Halloween elements we have as well. I'm trying to think of other ones that I might have that I could show you, but just go and check out that video because I do show everything that they sent me in the box. And I love that they use every single inch of their vinyl to give us something that we can use. So I'm going to, well, I was going to trim this out, but let's see. Yeah, I'm going to trim this out. And after I do this, I am going to go ahead and spray paint my tumbler before we put this on, just so it'll be a little bit easier. So let's pick our spray paints. How about let's use Blackout and With a Twist. I'm going to do an ombre, so it'll be darker on the bottom and brighter up here at the top, coming off of our spooky eye V-split. We'll be right back. All right, our spray paint has dried, so it's time to add on our spooky eyes here. I'm going to trim off a little piece of that end so that once I have it wrapped, we're sticking. One reason I don't like using gloss paint. We're going to wrap this around the tumbler. I am going to leave just a hair of that black exposed there at the top, because when I come in and sand, I don't want it to damage my vinyl. So once I have that in place and even all the way across the top, just going to turn this and press it down. See? And I believe I said I was going to do green up here and black at the bottom, but I decided to switch it up. So I wanted some contrast in between these two. So now our next step is just to tape off our vinyl. So with this tape, and excuse the spray painting job. It is, we've got, or the coast, I know, has a hurricane coming through. I haven't exactly watched the weather, but I think we're going to be getting some really bad weather today from the hurricane. So it's really humid outside, and spray paint and humidity just don't work well together. So my spray paint does not look too great there at the bottom. I will be using the Southern Belle full glue for this. It's just my favorite way to apply glitter because it dries prior to adding on your glitter, or if you just want to use it wet, then that's totally fine too. It still dries quicker than epoxy, and then you can move into your first layer of epoxy way faster than if you were to use epoxy to apply your glitter. I'm almost out of this one, but no worries. I finally got some more thanks to Cindy at Southern Belle. Going to use our all over e.l.f. makeup brush. Get down in there and get some of that glue. You really don't need much. This was just what was left over on the bottom. Make sure that tapes down. We're going to go all over with an even coat. Dab to get that texture. It gives a little bit more grip to our glitter, and if you're using a fine glitter or an extra fine, if you continue to dab all around your cup until it begins to dry, it will prevent any of this texture from showing underneath that glitter and prevent any streaking. But for us, since we are going to be using a chunky mix, I'm going to leave this as is, so we do have a little bit of texture and a little bit more thickness and grip to it, so it really grabs a hold of it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and dry this up with my heat gun. But before that, I am going to go wash off my brush because this stuff is incredibly tacky when it dries, and you do not want it to dry on your brush. There's no coming back from that. So for this, we are going to be using one single glitter. This appears to have opal in it. I believe this is an opal glitter, so it should show dark over our black and bright over our green. Let's hold our breath and hope it works out that way. It's okay if it doesn't, but that is what I'm anticipating. And by the way, you do want to make sure that when you are drying your glue, if you don't allow it to air dry, that you dry it on a low heat setting, even if you apply your glue a little bit thicker, because you do not want to overheat your glue and cause it to bubble. This is Mojito 2.0 from Chase Ray Creations. And it might not look like it right now, But once we have some epoxy on here, we should be able to see that black. Put this back in the bag, and then we'll roll this up and brush off our excess glitter. And this beautiful vinyl in the background, I actually made a tray using something similar last year. It was last fall that Slide Hustle come out with this 3D vinyl. So if you're curious, it's also from their website or their Etsy store. Flatten that bottom out. Get some of that excess off, and then let's get a paintbrush and brush off some of the excess as well. Now we do want to seal our glitter in prior to epoxy. Even though it's one color glitter, you still want to seal it because a chunky glitter especially can move around on you, and when you have pieces of glitter moving around on the cup while you're applying epoxy, it can cause friction and cause more bubbles in your epoxy. So I always seal to be safe. And with hurricane weather outside, I do have a wonderful binding potion from Adhesive Apothecary. This is going to seal this in. I only have to give it 30 minutes to 2 hours. Usually I wait the full 2 hours to be on the safe side before I go in with my epoxy. Now this stuff you can actually apply with your hands or a paintbrush. It's non-toxic. Start here at the top. There. I had left the cap open for a minute. Oops. And like I said, you can use a paintbrush or you can use your hand, a glove, whatever you feel. But for me, it has been applying a whole lot better. Oh no, I have run away. A whole lot better with a flat, like firm brush like this. It really helps pull the solution around and works it down into the glitter. Let me get that cleaned up, because I definitely don't want to seal any glitter in on our vinyl. Don't need a tremendous amount. That's why I'm going back and just kind of pulling any of that excess down towards the bottom of the cup. That way we're not allowing this to collect on top of our glitter in any areas. It's so good to have this stuff on hand, because if you have some bad weather going on outside, or if it's cold, I know a clear spray paint really has not worked well for me when it is super cold outside. It's great to have this because it gives you an alternative to having to go outside in any of the elements, and it dries pretty quick. It darkened up, yay! Okay, so now that we have it coated, look at that crispy line. Oh. Yes. I knew y'all would want a close up of that. All right, so we're gonna let this sit for 2 hours so we make sure that our binding potion is completely dry. I will give this probably 2 coats of epoxy, sanding lightly in between so it's nice and smooth for us to add on our pinstriping and our decal. Alrighty. Look at how good that looks. And the black worked because we definitely have a really nice ombre. Really nice. So, not sure if I did mention it in the beginning, but we are making matching tumblers for Dan and Susan at Slide Hustle. And I used vinyls for our pinstriping to tie into this one. So I'm going to find some holographic brown vinyl from TECKWRAPCRAFT and orange to tie this tumbler into this one, since that's our primary colors. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get, look at this, is that not awesome? So pretty. We're going to go ahead and cut out our vinyls. Now, all of TECKWRAPCRAFT vinyls do have a protective layer on them, so no worries about any fingerprints or anything that is on this. Let's try not to get my face on the vinyl. Y'all don't want to see that. Not early in the morning, at least. All right, we're gonna cut 2 strips of that one. Little bit of orange. What's our last color that we're going to use? Maybe I can use this dark green that we used on the other tumbler as well. I think that will look really good. All of these vinyls are from TECKWRAPCRAFT. It is either part of their bubble-free chrome, which is our orange, or their holographic chrome. Okay. We'll use our small orange strips in the middle. I'm taking off that plastic protective layer before we even get started. Which one are we going to do first? Let's do the brown first. We're going to start from right here. The same thing on this side. Now I'm coming below the tip of our vinyl right here. Below the tip, because I want to cross over my vinyls instead of like square them. I want to cut a nice little, or cut it to a point rather than have them overlap. And now that I've got started on this, I'm trying not to put my fingers on this too much because I can feel that it has a slight tackiness to it. I put epoxy on this like 2 hours ago, and it felt like it was dry, but putting, I guess, my warm hands on it, now I can feel the tackiness. But we're already working on it, so might as well finish. Do not recommend doing that because you don't want to put any fingerprints in your tumbler by accident, or, you know, cause any bumps or things to stick to it that you don't want to stick to it. But here we are. Okay. So I'm trying not to touch it too awful much. I'm sure all of you have probably had that happen before. I usually give them plenty of time because I will epoxy my cups most of the time later in the afternoon or super early in the day, and then I'll leave them till the next day just because I don't have time to come back and do anything with them. But I've got quite a few things that I'm trying to finish up all at the same time. Kind of jumped the gun on grabbing this off the turner. Normally it would be dry. It's just really humid here today and rainy. So probably has something to do with it feeling like it was done, but not being done. Oh, no, you didn't. I need you to go back. That didn't line up because this one is thicker than that one. Let's see if this scrap will fit. Now, how did that happen? Let's see if these will fit. That was perfect. Don't know how that happened. Took longer than anticipated, but that's totally fine. Last one to tie everything together. Got some dark color matching vinyls on this one. Now, I never would have thought to put the orange on here had it not been for the other cup. It's the only reason that I'm putting on the orange is to match the other cup, because I want them to go together without being the same. You want all your vinyls to overlap in the same spot. If they don't, then you've got something crooked somewhere. Quit being a pain. Now for these, I'm going to trim right here up the middle. Remove this excess over top and underneath, and then I will trim off any of that point that's hanging over the top. To line it up with the rest of our vinyl right here. You don't want your vinyl to go all the way to the top, because if you do have to sand the rim, or when you're trimming off any excess epoxy to clean the cup up, you don't want to take off any of your vinyl. There we go. That looks nice. Now the decal for this cup is this cute couple. Cute little scaly couple. I'm going to trim off some of the backing here, and I'm going to do my best not to touch any of the clear area. Carefully line this up before we place it. Oh, I love it. Again, I did not allow my cup to dry completely. I thought it was dry. It's a little tacky. I'm gonna allow it to excuse me. I'm gonna allow it to completely dry, and then I will sand the bottom where I've put so many fingerprints, and it'll be fine. Look at that cuteness. And those go together pretty good, don't they? We've got the browns and the dark greens on this one to kind of tie into that one. And then the greens, or in the orange on this to tie into that one. I love it. All right, let's go get some epoxy.